I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaga Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? We have an amazing author on the show. I tried to get him on before, but I couldn't. But now I got him. Alex Gall is on the show. Hello, Alex. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So you have an amazing book, but before we talk about this, let's talk about, why you wrote this book.
Well, I wrote the book as a tribute to my late wife. We were married 57 years. Finally, Alzheimer's claimed her. I think it might have been attributed to hairspray. She was a beautician at one time and a manager, and she sprayed a lot of hair on my. I'm trying to think how could she have possibly acquired that ailment, and that's the only thing I can think of. It's something that affects her brain is the spray. I might be wrong on that.
Well, you might not be. I mean, there's just so many different things. I mean, and then she was a beauty person, hair and, all those chemicals.
Well, there's a warning on the. I think there's a warning on the spray can. No, not to inhale too much of it.
Right. I'm a girl with natural hair, I'm a black girl, so I don't really use hairspray. My hair is automatically anti-gravitational. So I don't have to use hairspray. But I can't imagine, going through that whole thing and not having something. So I'm sorry to hear that. So you wrote this book because of your wife.
And I wrote it as a dedication to my wife, so that 100 years from now, people will know that she existed and that nature of her personality. And I couldn't build a Taj Mahal, or I couldn't build an obelisk or a pyramid, so I decided to write my memories of her, because she was the best thing that ever happened to me since when I married her.
Wow. And
I had a wonderful, wonderful marriage for 57 years, and unfortunately, Alzheimer's claimed her. Right.
Wow. So your love for your wife, what was the one thing that your meeting, with her, how did that go?
My wife escaped from Hungary with her brother. Her brother was going to be drafted into the Russian army as a Hungarian and sent to Siberia. And he decided not to go because a lot of Hungarian guys disappeared in Siberia, never to be heard from again. So he ended up in Illinois, and she ended up in Garfield, New Jersey. That's where I met her through a friend of my mother's.
Wow, that is one heck of a beginning. Did she ever?
It was a wonderful.
Go ahead.
See, I spoke Hungarian. I passed the army test in Hungarian. I never took a lesson in it, but it's phonetic, and you spell the words, and it sounds just like it. You say it, and I took the test in Hungarian. The questions were in Hungarian, and I got an 85. So it was unusual for an army guy to be familiar with the Hungarian language, but my mother and father spoke it when I was a youngster, and I learned the language pretty well. They were actually, I think they were more like farmers. They weren't highly educated or anything, but I knew enough to learn.
Wow!
I graduated Newark College of Engineering, New Jersey Institute of Technology in 1961 as a mechanical engineer, and I became a supervisor with the government. For 28 years, I had 32 years with the government, and I retired 1994 at the age of 55, and I've been retired ever since, collecting a pension.
Wow. So you could speak with her, like her native language. That must have been amazing.
Well, I love Hungarian. I love the music. I love the people. And I love the language. It's kind of interesting, and because I hear it on the radio. I heard a guy on same channel as Fox News. He spoke a little Hungarian. He said "Jeda ide," which means "come here" in Hungarian. Jeda ide, and I was glad to hear him because he said his mother had spent some time in Hungary, and I wonder if he learned anything. And evidently he must have, because he's very erudite and very intelligent, and he speaks a wonderful American. And I was just wondering how good he was in Hungarian. I think he's pretty good.
Wow. So did she ever see her brother again?
Her brother passed away from a heart ailment.
Oh, no.
He was married and had 2 children. He married a Dutch girl, and they had 2 boys. Mm-hmm. They're still alive, and I was thinking of leaving them in my will.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
Yeah, right? Wow. So your wife, so many wonderful years. What stands out the most about this book?
I can't hear you.
I said so many wonderful years. What stands out the most about this book for you?
Well, I was very impressed with my wife's disregard for wealth. She started out broke, and she ended up being very rich and didn't even realize it because she used her money to help poor people. Her main function in life was to help needy people, especially children. And she took them to a vacation Bible school and picked them up and took them home. And she tried to make sure that they got a religious education. And she also helped people with their gas and electric bills, and wherever they were short of funds, they came and asked her, and she got it through her pastor on the Seventh-day Adventist. We were married as Catholics, and she changed to be a Seventh-day Adventist, and I admire the religion because there's some very, very wonderful people that are Seventh-day Adventists, and I always liked associating with them. They're just the good people.
Wow. To me, that's amazing. And I mean, what a testament, what a wonderful person she must have been.
She was very good. She was very religious, and she converted over to the Seventh-day Adventist religion after reading Ellen White's book on, Ellen White was one of the prophets in her religion, and she wrote a book, a religious book, and she read it, and she converted from a radio program from a fellow by the name of Ted Cruz. Mm-hmm. And she studied the Bible, and she was excellent, knowledgeable on the Bible. She knew more about the Bible she forgot more about the Bible than I ever knew. And I was impressed by how hard she studied it. Oh. And she lived it. If there is a heaven, she's certainly there.
Right.
If there is a heaven, she certainly qualifies to get in there based on what I know.
Uh-huh. Wow. So, but your book now, I'm looking at the title. It says "Looking for Love at 82." So, are you back on the?
Died,
are you back on the market?
Died, I was all alone. We had no children.
Okay.
There was nobody in my house except my cat Cutie Pie. Oh. It's a Maine Coon cat. And he left one night. She left one night, never came back. So I was all alone. Oh. Now I was looking for some companions, and I got on the dating service, and I had some success and I had some failures.
Okay. And so what was the success? Did you find love?
Well, I still talk with a couple of women. We're not serious or anything. I don't want to get remarried or anything, but I have met a few women that I like talking to. Mm-hmm. And many of them are up in age. They're in their 70s, and some of them are grandmothers. And so, I mean, it's a different lifestyle now.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. So How is dating for you? I mean, is it something that you're doing?
I really don't date. I really don't date. I guess I'm too old. I can't get around. I'm on a walker. I had a stroke about 6 years ago, and I'm on a walker, and I lost my license, and so I have 2 cars, but I don't drive. So I don't get around to see the things that used to be easy for me are now difficult to do. And I don't get around as much as I once did.
Right.
But I do miss I am lonely from time to time, and I do miss companionship. There's quite a few nice women out there, nice ladies, and I don't mind meeting them, but so far it hasn't gotten anywhere.
Yeah, I hear you. So this book that you've written, Looking for Love at 82.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. I'm 85 now.
Wow. Okay. And so you're 85 now, not looking for love, but you already had a love. If you could
I was married for 57 years to the same woman. So
exactly. So if you could give...
I was very, very happy. I wish I could do it again.
I hear you. If you could give any advice to those people out there that, are looking for love or going through love, what would be the one thing that you would say kept you and your wife together for so long?
Well, we never argued. I thought we were one. And my arguing would be just arguing with myself. We never had an argument. We got along. She was a good cook. And I liked her, and I admired her. I admire her generosity toward people, and her regard for other people, and trying to give them a better life. And I felt that was a very noble thing, and she was very... religious, and she personified the teachings of the Bible. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't do anything. My books, by the way, are all very clean. You could give it to your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your brother, anybody.
Right.
It would not offend anybody. She proofread it, and I tried to make it so that the book would be readable by anyone that picked it up. Right. I didn't want to offend anybody. Mm-hmm. I scrupulously avoided that.
Right. Well, my goodness, I would say that you had an amazing life with an amazing woman, and looking for love. I was a mechanical engineer and a section chief in the Army. We did testing of non-wheel vehicle trucks and trailers and mm-hmm. containers and air conditioners, heaters, generators, cement mixers, all kinds of Army equipment. Make sure that the GI got the best equipment and reliable equipment. I worked at Aberdeen Proving Ground for 28 years as a supervisor. I retired with 32 years of service. I loved being in the working for the Department of the Army. Mm-hmm. Wow. So Looking for Love at 82, what do you want people to take from that when they read it?
I can't hear you very well.
I said Looking for Love at 82, what do you want people to take from that book when they read it?
Well, I want them to experience the same level of love that I had, and I was very fortunate to be. Marriage can be heaven or it can be hell, and I had a heavenly marriage, and I can understand why. I can't understand why two people get married and they constantly argue and fight each other, and they forget why they first fell in love. And I love my wife I loved her more and more every day. After 57 years, I was heartbroken when she passed away.
I'm sorry. Wow. Well, I hope nothing but the best for you. And these women need to know that you're an amazing catch, even if you're just a really cool BFF, best friend forever.
I don't know if I'm a catch at 85.
I think if you're alive,
catch.
If you're alive, you're a catch, dude. You're a catch.
Okay. Well, I got a pulse.
Yes. But you know what? A lot of times you need the companionship and it's just hanging out with people, you know? And
right. Well, see, I have no pain. I have no headaches. I have no sore joints or anything. I don't need to take any pills of any kind except for high blood pressure. But I feel fairly healthy. I don't know how I lived to be this long, but my future is a little dim since I'm in my 80s and I'm considered old.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't matter. You're still here. And so those women need to just be your BFFs. They need to be your best friends so that you guys can go hang out.
What'd you say?
I said they need to be your best friends so that you can go hang out.
Well, I like to meet some nice best friends, and I like to meet some new people who care for me and I care for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we all are at this moment. We need people like that in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you so very much, Mr. Gall, for being on the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I hope people are not bored.
Of course not. You know,
and
this is wonderful to have.
I think my life is fairly routine, but I was very fortunate to be married 57 years to the same wonderful woman.
And that is an accomplishment. A lot of people don't make it to 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I understand that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to have all of the information for Looking for Love at 82 in the description box below so that you guys can go ahead and get that. We're also going to put that in our book club.
By the way, that book is 5-star rated. I have 4 joke books some of them are 5-star rated, and I'm a self-published author,
right? As
was Mark Twain, and I'm surprised my book's got a very high rating. But I spent all my life working in writing and publishing and writing reports and for military equipment, and I was an experienced writer. I was better than my boss at it. It came easy to me. I was a straight A student in English. I should have. I didn't know how to make a living in English, but I do now.
Yeah,
I'm not making a living at it, but I enjoy doing it. It's a pleasure to write.
I hear you.
It's my legacy.
Yes, and we all must have one. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love it. Thank you again so much for being on the show. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
It was a pleasure talking to you, and I didn't know how this was going to go. And I was very pleasantly surprised by your charming personality.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Your insightful questions.
Oh, well, I have to get to know. I mean, literally, I'm just like a ball of questions here. We can keep going. Because, I mean, to tell you the truth, it's like this. Mr. Gall, you had an amazing life with an amazing woman. You're living an amazing, lengthy life, and you still got more to give.
Well, I'm an optimistic person. I am. I always look at the bright side of things. I try not to get down.
That's right.
Lady says, whenever I'm down in the dumps, I buy a new hat. The lady says, I was wondering where you bought your new hats.
Well, there you go.
Down in the dumps. Here's a couple jokes I wrote. I said, I taught my cat to use a Xerox machine. She's a copycat.
Oh, my gosh.
Then I wrote here's one about Federal Express and United Parcel Service are going to merge into a new big company called Fed Up.
That is good. I like that one. Oh my gosh. I got to steal that.
Yeah, you're welcome to steal anything I have. All of my jokes are meant to be retold.
Awesome.
And they're all original. There's not a the only thing I remember is I taught my dog to play poker. Trouble is I lost money because every time he got a good hand, he wagged his tail. Oh, there's somebody at my door. I got to hang up.
All right. No problem. Bye, Mr. Gall. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. Until next time, guys. Bye.